There's one golf club as a junior golfer that you always strive to have in your golf bag. If you played links golf, this was also a club that you was always told should be in your golf bag. And today I have one, but it's only found in 0.2% of golfers' golf bags. And that is a 2-iron. A 2-iron has been quickly replaced with plenty other clubs that people have in their bags. The 7-wood has become incredibly popular, but obviously at 18 degrees this would probably fit in with your 5-wood. So your 5-wood or a 4-wood has quickly replaced this iron. But for me, these irons have changed. They have started to improve, or not improve, but they have started to be more versatile. And if you're somebody who prefers the look behind the golf ball of an iron, then this is something for you to consider. You can still get fantastic options, and today we are talking about the PXG 0317X iron, but there's a lot on the range. You'll see that Titleist have the U505. We'll see that Ping have always had the crossover and certain versions of those that don't exactly look like that scary 2-iron that people have had in their bags years and years ago. For me, obviously behind the golf ball, this looks a little bit bigger than my current irons, but you can see that it would fit in perfect if you had some PXG Gen 7 or Gen 6 irons. But this is a tee shot, and this is where I think that a lot of people think about using it. But I think now, with how these have developed, it's not just for the tee box. So this club is one of those where you've just thought it's going to go extremely low, but we're here at the fantastic Forest Pines. A nice tree-lined course here, but this could still work. And you will see there, off a tee, you can get good height with that, just exactly what you would expect maybe from a 7-wood or even mainly a 5-wood, but still perform, still can get that high. But we can also play that low. Again, there is no reason why I can't here play a lower shot, and that's going to obviously come down to a little bit of setup. And this is where this golf club, if you can get your setup to play the shots and you have enough speed to get the ball in the air, then this can be a fantastic club for you to have in your bag. Even if you play links golf, it's great in the windy conditions, but you can see here this is the perfect club for this shot. I can start to even play this a low one. If the wind picks up above those trees, I can play that lower but get the same control, the exact same start line, and there pretty much the same performance. Let's get down there and see where it is. But as you know, there is plenty of other options that you could go for. And guys, if you're new to the channel, then welcome to this YouTube channel. If you want to join us on that journey to 50,000 and beyond, then hit that subscribe button. And guys, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, I hope you're enjoying the content. And again, if you're not a subscriber and you are a subscriber, what do you want to see on the channel? What do you want to see come in? Again, we're going to get mid-handicap Dave with plenty of film this year now. He's retired. I am off to Orlando next week to film some stuff at the PGA show, so that'll be coming on in the next couple of weeks. But what do you want to see from Dave? We've got plenty of testing to do, but what's the most in-demand club, driver, irons that you want to see him test if you're thinking about buying, guys? But let's get back to talking about what other options you could have if we was talking about a driving iron or the top end of your golf bag. And you can see down here two extremely consistent, similar distance if not identical, but in position A for this par 4. We haven't had to go 5-wood or 7-wood. A 2-iron has worked because after all, there's not a one size fits all. So what I mean by obviously one size doesn't fit all, here in the studio we're going to test this X2 iron from PXG against a 5-wood and against a hybrid. I was going to test it against a 7-wood, but again there is going to be differences in loft. We have three 18-degree clubs here, and we'll start to see what they do. They're all going to suit different golfers, and this is where, for me, this was the biggest eye-opener for me. I went for a fit-in not long ago, back in November, at SGGT up in Edinburgh. And for me, I've never had a hybrid in the bag, but out of the three, a driving iron, a 7-wood and a hybrid, the hybrid was the one that came out on top. And I would have never thought that because I haven't had one in the bag, but then I also got fitted for this club back in the summer. So again, like we say now, we can play different shots. We can play that lower ball flight slightly down the left, but again, we'll see that that's going to go 225 carry, running out to 250. So it is a shot that I need out on the golf course. This could potentially be for those longer par 4s or for those par 5s. But then you'd be saying, well, if you went in with that ball flight, you can see I've got 20 yards of run there. That's not stopping on the green. And this is where, now if I change my setup a little bit, I can get that ball to launch a little bit higher. Yes, slightly left, that is me, not the club. But if we look at that there, again, it's now gone down to 15 yards. So it's landed a little bit softer. The spin's still down at 4,000. So it is versatile. And we can see if I zoom in on those two flights, there's a big difference from top to bottom there. And this is where this club might be good for somebody, even a mid-handicap golfer who has quite a lot of speed. Again, shaft-wise, if we compare this to a 5-wood, you're going to see there's a big difference there. And we know if we can get a shorter club, we might have a little bit more control. We're stood closer and you might get a more consistent strike. So this is where this could potentially go into a high handicap golfer's bag, but not every high handicapper or mid handicapper, because if you haven't got the speed to be able to get the ball in the air, somebody like mid handicap Dave, then this club is probably going to be his worst nightmare still. And that's why it's probably only in 0.2% of golfers' bags. And this is where you have to think there are a lot of options now, but fitting wise, you need to look at somewhere that fits those clubs. You might get a different shaft in there that gets you the launch and still gets you a club that you like the look of behind. You might be more confident with maybe a 2-iron, maybe with a 3-iron, if you've got the right shaft because you're a little bit closer. If we go 5-wood now, again, same 18 degrees of loft. And straight away there, not as consistent. Yes, that is down to me, but for me, as soon as I go into a longer club, maybe not as confident. 212 going 231, so it would have certainly stopped quicker on the green, but it has launched a lot higher. So you can see the differences in height again there. An open club face, exactly what we would expect. Let me put a good swing on one of these. And again, even there, I felt like I put a good swing. I've left that slightly open. 220, going 230. So you can see it will stop, but there I would have to be playing a fade. I want to get that normal shot. So two extremely high shots right there. So better strike there, a better shot. It's just going to be on the left-hand side of the fairway, but let's see the distance. 235. Stopping at 246. So you see the difference in there. This has generated a higher ball flight than the 2-iron, which is exactly what we would expect, but it took me 3 shots to get there. So is that something for me that where it's screaming out that maybe the 5-wood isn't the club that I should have in the bag at that distance, but I might have to think about if I'm going for greens in 2 where I'm going to have to land the ball, or whether I'm going to have to take my medicine potentially. But the other club in the bag, like I say, I got fitted for was a hybrid. So we have a hybrid here, a 3 hybrid, again, 18 degrees. If I get some more golf balls into the simulator. So a hybrid now, again, 18 degree hybrid. So this is right in between them. And like I say, this is the club that I got fitted for. We can see the 5-wood and the 2-iron have done the exact same job distance-wise, but the way that they've got there with the flight is totally different. And this is where a hybrid, I would say that's right in between those 2 flights. 230, stopping at 246. So again, closer to those numbers of the 2-iron. For me, again, trajectory-wise, I will zoom in. That is bang in between them both. I would say that is exactly what I would expect from a hybrid. I've got a little bit more launch than the 2-iron, and it's bang in between there just with a standard swing. But if I now try and get this a little bit higher, you can see I can quickly do that nice and easy. And I would say that's right up there with the peak height of that 5-wood. But you see it does drop my distance back a little bit. So that's something that you have to think about when you're going for these clubs. You have to find the one that is right for you. And again, hybrids have become more popular. 5 woods and 7 woods, even 4 woods have become more popular. We aren't seeing as many 2 irons, but you have to think, I still think there is a place in a lot of golfers' bags for that 2 iron to go straight in. But right there, a towering flight, a good strike, 220, and stopping within 12 yards. So certainly things to consider. We're back out on the golf course. So guys, very interesting numbers there inside with the 2 iron against that 5 wood. But a hybrid also inside is another option. So you have to think, when I mean obviously one size doesn't fit all, for example, this could be perfect for a mid-handicap golfer who has still quite a lot of speed but doesn't feel comfortable with a fairway wood. This could be something with a little bit of a shorter shaft length that could give them more confidence and get a better strike, as opposed to having a 5 wood in the bag. Whereas mid-handicap Dave, for example, the 7 wood was a little bit long. He didn't have as much control when he tested it previously, and a hybrid is now something that has gone into his bag. But for me, even here, off the ground now, we're not teeing it up off this tee box. Again, the fairways are a little bit frozen. It is about -2 out here in the UK. But let's see, obviously, what kind of launch we can get off that ground. You can see there, mid trajectory, a nice penetrating ball flight. Again, felt fantastic off the face. Again, that was a little bit towards the toe, so we can now get forgiveness with these clubs, and we have to make sure they're fitting for you. Don't overlook these clubs. Again, fitting wise, you can get fitted for these at somewhere like SGGT. There isn't many places where you can get fitted for driving irons, but if you're really considering putting one in the bag, then it's something you have to take into consideration. Go and test it. There are plenty of options now that can get you different heights. Again, let's see if I can get a high ball flight now. Move that ball position a little bit further forwards. And yes, we can. So again, you can see that I can do everything with this golf club. Again, it all depends on what kind of clubhead speed and what you are trying to achieve, guys. But maybe 0.2% of people have these in the bag, but should that be a little bit more?